Hello everybody, my name is Masiha Kassim. My student number is 212042333 and today our section is going to be on 2D and 3D shapes. When we speak about 2D shapes, they are two-dimensional. They can be defined as a flat figure or a shape that has two dimensions, your length and your width. The two-dimensional or 2D shapes do not have any thickness. Your 2D figures can be classified on the basis of the dimensions they have. A circle, triangle, rectangle, and pentagon are all examples of 2D shapes. 2D shapes have sides and vertices. Your sides can also mean is also your corners, and the vertex meet at a point where two or more lines meet. The number of sides and vertices, these are properties of 2D shapes. Some of your 2D shapes can be classified as your circle, your triangle, your rectangle, your square, your hexagon, your heart, your pentagon, your star, oval, and your rhombus. These are all 2D shapes. These shapes consist of a length and a width. They don't consist of a breadth because they have no volume. Here we are going to speak about 3D objects. 3D shapes are solids that consist of three dimensions. This is where your 3D shapes consist of your length, your width, and your breadth. The 3D shape means three-dimensional, which means that they have a 3D geometric shapes that occupies some space based on its dimensions, and we can see that many 3D shapes around us in our day-to-day life. Example, a cone or a cylinder or a rectangular prism where we keep ice cream or a bottle where we fill water. The other important terms associated would be bases, edges, vertices, and obviously we would say that because these objects are 3D, they occupy some volume. A couple of examples of 3D shapes are a pyramid, which consists of 2D shapes, which are triangles and squares. The other one is a cube that consists of only squares. Then we have a cone that consists of a circle. We have a cuboid. Then we have a sphere, which is only round. Then we have a triangular, which consists of a triangle, two triangle faces, and three rectangle faces. Then we have a cylinder that consists of one rectangular face and two circles. And then we have a hexagon, a hexagonal prism, which consists of six rectangular faces and two hexagon faces.
So let's get to know 3D objects a bit more. In 3D objects, there are faces, edges, and vertices. So to start, a face is one of the flat surfaces that you can touch on a 3D object. Faces make a part of the 3D object. So hence, one can assume that a 3D object has many faces. Now, when we move on to an edge is the line where two faces of a 3D shape come together. You can run your finger on an edge and you can feel it. You can feel when there is an edge. Same with vertices. What are vertices? Vertices are the pointy ends of a shape where at least three edges join together.
For further on to explain um, a cube, right? A cube has vertices. These are the corners of the shape. Then we have a face, meaning you have the bottom face, you have the side, the faces is a square, and the edges are the sides of the object. Then we say that a cube has 6 faces, 12 edges, and 8 vertices, and they have the same length. All of it has the same length. They consist of a volume and they consist of a breadth. In this slide, we are now exposed to the net of a cube. This is where we have a side, we have a bottom. The 3 sides is where if you have to cut this net and you have to mold it according to these labels, you will get a cube. And then we see a rectangular prism. This consists of 8 vertices. It consists of 6 faces and 12 edges. The 6 rectangular faces, which is all the pairs of opposite faces, are congruent to each other, which means that if we have to open this net, we are able to stick it together to give us a rectangular prism. And last but not least, we have a net of a rectangular prism. So if we have to cut out if we have to cut out a net and we have to stick it together, this is the image on the left is what your rectangular prism will look like. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful.
So let's move on to the cylinder. As shown, as you can see from the cylinder on the left, the 3D object called the cylinder has 3 faces. What are these 3 faces? You can see from the blue arrows, the first 2 of these faces are the 2 circles at the bottom and at the top. And the third face is the curved face that is wrapped around. There are 2 edges on the cylinder. As you can see with the green arrows and with the name edge, it says these edges are seen at where the top and the bottom circles meet the curved part. You can run your finger around it to feel the edge. In a cylinder, there are no vertices because there are no sharp corners. Now we look at the cylinder and its net. Over here you can see that the cylinder is made up of 2 circles, and when it's laid out, and the 2D shape of the curved part is actually a rectangle. You can see the edges, you can see the faces, and this is the net that the learners will be using to make their cylinder. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this PowerPoint of our lesson on 2D and 3D shapes.